Hi, my friends. It is October 18th, and I am sitting here with all these beautiful cards and gifts that I received from you in early August at my beautiful birthday ceremony under the Redwoods at Diamond Park in Oakland. And I think back to that day and am filled with so much gratitude and appreciation for the magic that enveloped all of us and all those who were there physically and all those who were there in spirit and in heart. And I feel so grateful for um, how nourishing and how fulfilling that time was, because it is from that reservoir of love and care and connection and joy that I have drawn strength and courage to move through the past few weeks since. In my last message to many of you, I had shared that my beloved mother, who many of you met that day, had a massive stroke just 2 days after the ceremony. And I think I have continued to feel awe in how profoundly timed everything has unfolded. Um, After the ceremony, and after my mom had her stroke, she spent about an entire month in the hospital, to which I had the very sacred privilege of being by her side almost every single day and night of that month. And I'm happy to share that she is alive and she is breathing and she is on her own journey of healing, and that in many uh, ways, this stroke has been a gift, um, a very difficult gift, but a gift of grief and loss that has given birth to a lot of possibilities for healing for her individually, and for her and me, and for her and the rest of my family. It was really painful, and it had been um, a, a very dark time the first few weeks when I could not grasp why what happened, and especially so soon after such a joyous, loving celebration. But 12 weeks, almost 12 weeks later, I'm sitting here with you, reading these cards and feeling the energy in my body, and know with such certainty and such clarity that every single thing that happens to us happens for a reason. And that the inquiry that I brought to my birthday ceremony, um, the inquiry about how do we stay connected to joy, how do we find love, how do we stay in relationship with others and ourselves in the midst of great grief and loss and transition and death and change. I laugh because I remember I stood in front of 100 people asking that question, thinking that I had understood a little bit of the answer to the question of how to hold it all. And then only 2 days later, the universe is like, we think there's a deeper lesson here for you. And I have been taking in that lesson um, in a very intimate way, in a way that I have not had to um, in my life so far, in the way that I'm experiencing it now. Um, my mother survived the stroke, and there's a reason why she survived it when her mother and her father both died from stroke and heart attack. And when I asked my mother, why do you think you survived this stroke? And her response was just so honest and vulnerable. She responded, I survived it so that I continue to practice. Because with a body, I can practice. Without a body, I cannot practice. And by practice, she means practicing staying awake and alive to her life, learning how to let go. Even at 77 years old, how is she needing to heal still? And so to be with my mom in witness of her, but also in witness of myself through this entire process has been incredibly deep medicine for my own healing journey and process of integrating all the folds and layers of the complexity of who I am as a human being. To share with you um, how I know that healing is happening is I was deeply immersed in my mom's recovery journey and still am in some ways. Um, and some of you know that I had a trip planned to Africa, to South Africa and to Botswana to go on this beautiful guided spiritual journey by a beloved teacher of mine who I've been working with for the last couple of years. Several years ago, um, I would have canceled the trip. I would have sacrificed my needs and not gone. Uh, but with this trip planned, I gave myself the spaciousness to allow all the outcomes to be possible. And I didn't make a decision until practically a day or two before my flight. And staying attuned and aware to my heart and my body, I realized that the closer that I got to the day of the flight, the clearer my knowing was that I was meant to be on this trip. I was meant to touch the land of Africa. I was meant to experience this following my mother's stroke for a reason. And so I had to let go. I had to surrender. I had to move through the guilt and the fear that I would be dropping everything on my sister, on my family, that the fear that my mom could have another stroke while I was away, um, the fear of coming back, being sick, and getting her sick, all the different kinds of fears. And I had to move through it all and keep my commitment to myself. And I'm so glad that I did, because this trip to Africa was absolutely life changing and healing and nourishing and deeply clarifying and filled with all the good things, the dark things, the light things, the things that help me peel back more and more layers of my inner world to understand more about why I'm here on this earth in this lifetime as I am. Whew. So I felt called to share this update with you all. Um, I've been very quiet and so that I can listen and really hear what's real and what's true. Um, and there's a lot that I'm still unpacking from my trip and journey in Africa to be shared at a later time. Um, but I felt that I needed to circle back with this beloved community that I have so gratefully surrounded myself with um, to stay open hearted and to stay vulnerable and to stay in the joys and the love. And so, yeah, so thank you. Thank you to every outreach, to every message, to every food and flower delivery, to the DoorDash, to even just the thought of outreach, even if you didn't get a chance to. I, for the first time in a very full way, know how surrounded I am in the hardest of hardest times, that I am not alone and that I am grounded in a community of care and love and connection that just helps to restore and nourish and love. So there's a lot more to come. So, but this is it for now, and I can't wait to get through these cards. Deep bows. Love you all, and hoping to reconnect soon.